Hey guys, welcome back to Spring Queen Stream. I'm your host, Jessica Cameron, and by now you know this lovely lady, Miss Dani Angst. Thank you so very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Always. So, today we are going to talk about and discuss Gigi Saul Guerrero's directorial debut as a feature filmmaker. What's the movie, Dani?
Oh, it's called... What is it called? Oh, it's called Culture Shock.
Culture Shock.
Culture Shock. I had anxiety for a second.
So earlier, obviously Gigi's name could be tricky to pronounce if you're not Mexican.
Yeah.
And I might not have pronounced it right, but I also love and adore her and know her well enough that I feel like she won't hold it against me if I do mispronounce it. So if I did, I'm
there
sorry.
are also different ways. I have a lot of friends who are Mexican or Hispanic, and if I don't roll my R correctly, they don't hate me.
And I'm Canadian. I don't roll R's.
You
I'm
do.
Gigi Saul Guerrero.
Yeah, see, she can do it. I can't. I physically cannot do that. And I wish I could. Gigi, you need to teach me. Can you teach me?
Cut to that in another video.
Teach me.
So if you guys are not familiar, Hulu has been doing a series of movies. So these are movies that are themed with whatever holiday happens in the month. There's a set of 12, and it's a production that's also done with Hulu. So you can watch this on Hulu. I believe it's available July 4th. I will link all the information down below so that you can check it out and watch it when it's available for you.
That's when the 4th of July theme came in.
Look at that light bulb.
Made sense. I just thought it was 4th of July. Cool. It took place around 4th of July.
True.
I didn't know there was an actual reason for it. That makes it even better.
There totally is.
It was cool anyway.
Yeah. It was the movie that was selected for the 4th of July.
Well, there was also a really good use of fireworks in it, so I just assumed that they said it because of the fireworks, but I didn't realize there was another reason. So I love that.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Now, that being said, Gigi, the filmmaker that I have known about for several years, El Gigante was probably the first of her shorts that I saw and loved. I think I saw that in 2014. She has basically been very active in the independent film scene and the film festival circuit with her short films for many, many, many years with her production team, Luchagor Productions, which is a wonderful group, a really great production company based out of Vancouver, Canada.
I'm not Canadian.
You're not.
So I want to marry somebody Canadian so I can work in Canada.
Noted.
Oh yeah, we discussed this before.
Yeah,
they don't recognize
same-sex marriage.
Same-sex marriage. Otherwise, we would be getting married tomorrow.
Right. That being said, Gigi's also a very talented actress, so I was really curious to see what she would be like behind the camera. She has previously, prior to this, done a web series with Warner Brothers that they have yet to release, but I'm really excited to see it. I'm going to mispronounce the name, La Quinceañera. It's a Mexican term, the coming of age.
Oh, quinceañera.
Quinceañera, yeah. Yeah. So I've been super excited. That I haven't seen. I've seen a bunch of her short films, and I have loved everything I've seen from her. I really like her voice. I really like her style. She has a very distinctive tone. And I think that she managed to have that show through, even though this is a Blumhouse and Hulu production.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but she still kind of had her own little... she gave it her own voice and her own
completely.
Style.
Absolutely. 110%. So I'm going to give you guys a very quick synopsis. So basically it's told in Spanish and English. It's a thriller that follows a young Mexican woman in pursuit of the American dream who crosses illegally into the United States only to find herself in an American nightmare. So at this point we should let you know that this review will contain spoilers.
Spoilers.
Period.
Spoilers.
So note that. That being said, overall,
what? Yeah.
We should probably talk about the cast.
Oh, that's right. We do that first. The cast was great. I didn't dislike anyone in the cast. There was Barbara Crampton. She's great. Oh,
I only knew two of the main people: Barbara Crampton and Sean Ashmore.
Sean Ashmore. That's what.
Right.
That's what's his name. I really like that guy.
If you were a child in the 90s or a teenager in the millennium, you knew Sean Ashmore.
He was in a Disney show that I watched all the time on Disney. And I was like, oh, that guy's so cute.
He's so cute. He's also, side note, can we give him mad props for aging well? I haven't seen a childhood crush that has aged so well ever. It's always Edward Furlong where oh my god, you look like what now?
Oh, let's not talk about Eddie. Let's not talk about Rest in peace.
John Connor.
He didn't die.
No, he's still alive. I just saw him
Edward
in
Furlong did not
Vegas.
die. He's actually very much alive.
But the childhood
surprisingly.
fresh version of him is long gone.
Yes, that's true.
Versus Sean Ashmore, you're like, oh my god, well, hello,
He
hot
looks the
early
same,
30s.
only, like hot, sexy, like
I
older guy.
know.
No,
You're
not
like,
older,
oh wow,
no.
you're a grown up.
Older than
You
teenager.
grew up and you didn't do massive amounts of
it was-
drugs,
it
and
was
you
a
don't
show-
look like a scary version of yourself.
He
Love
there
that.
was this show about like I think it was like paramedics or something. I could be wrong. I could have been dreaming all of this, and I just want him to like give me CPR and walk him out. But I think it was about like younger, like paramedics or EMTs.
Possibly.
Because I remember like a doctor thing. But yeah, he was so hot then, and he's still
And he
hot
still
now.
is. I mean, again, like he looks great. He just looks like an older version of himself, which is fantastic.
Yeah, like just and not even like older. Like I feel like his skin didn't even age. It's just like he has a little bit more facial hair, and he's like,
But I
his,
think he
his
looks like
shape
late
is a little-
20s, early 30s.
Yeah,
Like hot.
which
like
actually I think
early
he's even older than that. I believe
He looked
if I'm
great.
correct, he's even older than that.
But also, so great to see somebody that we liked in our youth that's not a train wreck mess.
Yes,
Like
oh
10 million bonus
or
points.
dead.
Right.
A lot of them are dead.
And also, such a great actor. I thought he gave such a great
Yeah, he's really great. Yeah.
So that being said, the other actors I'm not familiar with. I do suspect they're probably prevalent in Mexican cinema. I just am not that well versed in it. I acknowledge this is something I want to get better
they're
about.
not, like they were, their performances were all brilliant. There was not even
Well,
the little
and I'm
kid.
gonna so
Even
good.
the little kid, I was so surprised because little kids normally like could hit or miss.
So well done.
Even he was really good.
When I want to give a shout out, like to the cast, the names are Martha Higuereta, Richard Cabral, Sean Ashmore, obviously we mentioned, Barbara Crampton, and Creed Breton. So if I mispronounce the name, I'm very sorry. That's not my intention. That being said,
We
overall, I
decided
thought
this.
like all the casting was phenomenal. The
Yeah.
fact that I didn't recognize most of them, I didn't care. But that being said, I thought that they were so really, really, really brilliantly cast. Like really,
Yeah,
really
it was
well
really
cast.
good. I really liked the guy that played like the really like bad guy, like the one that everybody was afraid of because he was like, oh, like a killer or something. He was good. I liked him a lot.
Side note, I also
Hi.
loved I loved how like at the very end there's like by the way, our entire reviews always contain spoilers. So at the very end during the credit scene when they like do that interview with like the two bad guys.
Oh, those bad guys. Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know what to say. This is our home. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about.
Like we don't understand. Hilarious.
No idea.
So what worked of this film?
I think just about everything. Like I really appreciated the cinematography. I love how dark and grungy it was at the beginning.
And
when
I
you
liked
were
how like night looked like night, but like
Yeah.
just a pretty well shot night.
Well,
You know, like too often night to me looks like you set up a bunch of lights, and that's not what night looks like.
Yeah,
This
no.
looked and felt like night,
but it wasn't
which is
so
crucial
dark
to
that
the
you couldn't
characters.
see it because
No,
I
you
even
could
watched it on my
totally
phone,
see everything.
and I saw everything.
Yeah.
What I really liked and I appreciated it was kind of like a sandwich. So it was really dark and gritty when she was running for the border and she was trying to go to the US, and it was a little darker and it was like dirtier and it was like more real. And then in the middle when they go to this crazy like VR like world, it's so bright and pastel. And it's like you even said you're like, that's like where you want to live. And I'm like, yeah, that's where I want to live. And
Like I thought there's so many details in this film that are really well executed. So first and foremost, I do want to mention this might be the best looking Blumhouse film that has ever been made. Of all the films I've seen, this is by far.
I can't say that I haven't watched many.
You've probably seen more than what you think.
Well, I know I've seen some, but like I feel like I haven't watched enough of them to make.
I have. It's like the most beautifully shot one. It's really
is
quite
beautifully
breathtaking.
shot.
You can take
One-
most frames of the movie, and it's a still photograph.
It
It's
is
just beautiful.
It is absolutely one of the most
But the
beautifully shot indie films I've ever seen in my life.
The details of this movie are fantastic. She wakes up every day in like the new world in like the identical dress but a different shade, and I love the
Yeah,
detail. It's like
it's
the
all
same
different,
beautiful lace dress with the bow at the waist, but it's a
Oh my
different shade.
god!
It's
Like
different.
her figure, you don't see her amazing figure
because she's
at the beginning because she's pregnant.
And also,
like, and she was big.
Kudos to wardrobe because
You know.
they didn't put her in like a super skin tight outfit to be like I'm pregnant. They put her in an oversized, worn flannel, which is real. Like you live in Mexico. I'm glad it doesn't look brand new. It's not like you just bought it.
I'm sorry, like
but you
know,
just buy it
girls
at, like,
wear
the
like
freaking
big
store.
fucking flannels and shit, and here's my big fucking shirt,
and jeans.
Fuck it,
And you're not like trying to show your baby bump. Like no,
she was
I
also trying to hide it too.
Spandex, but
within the storyline, she was trying to hide it as well.
She was.
So I mean, she didn't. I mean, you can't really hide being that pregnant. Yeah, but she was trying to hide it. So yeah, wardrobe was great.
Wardrobe was really
so great,
really
like
well
on point. I don't know who the hell did it, but
and like that really nice line between like not trying to overly sexualize the women in the movie, but they're still attractive in the position that they're in.
Oh, you mean in the middle?
In the whole process.
Oh yeah. Well, none of them were overly.
Like, no, but like I thought it still worked well for the character. It all felt very authentic.
Yeah, it was
even
very,
like
very authentic.
Barbara Crampton, like the color palette, her wardrobe typically matched the color palette of whatever the wardrobe was that Marisol woke up in.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, that was really like you could tell they put a lot of thought into it and the color schemes and everything and yeah, it was really in the shoes.
I know, right? I wonder where those shoes are now. Gigi, if you have them, let us know.
If there are 6,
right? Because they had like it was
because
really
I have time. So yeah, I thought it was really great.
What did you think about the story? The plot for me worked really, really well. I didn't see the twist coming, which I do really appreciate. I like how the first third of the movie is like a very straightforward immigration tale, and then it takes like a complete turn.
Well, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to like wake up in like Pleasantville kind of situation, which I really liked. It was very Pleasantville. It was very Matrix because of how they were all hooked up to like VR. It was very kind of like the Matrix a little bit, and that was just a little like a hint of that. And then the colors and like everybody's like, hey, I'm amazing and this is perfect and everything is perfect. It was very Pleasantville, Stepford Wives. I totally got a Stepford Wives vibe.
Completely agree.
Oh, and I love that movie. Both versions.
It was so fun. I also liked how like they didn't make Marisol immediately, like she was obviously aware that that it was a strange situation, but she wasn't immediately aware of what was wrong, and I felt like that felt more real as opposed to like I've seen clearly wake up, they're like something's not right. It's like, but how do you know that? You haven't experienced it yet. But,
like at first, that first couple minutes, she was like, "This is amazing. This is brilliant. This is
great.
And then
I'm enjoying this.
After she gets out in public a little bit, and then she's like, it's a little off. It's a little off.
And she noticed the cars. Like she called out, like she was like the cars and stuff. And I was like,
fucking
I didn't notice the cars. But you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I didn't ask like the lack of nature noises, or the lack of like birds chirping.
Well, it was it's true. I didn't even notice that either. It was really good. There were so many turns and twists and surprises. There were a couple of things that were a little bit predictable for me as far as character wise, and like I totally saw it coming. She didn't. She was like, I didn't see that coming. I was like, really? Because I didn't come them all the way. But I like the fact that there were so many twists that you didn't expect. And I liked that familiarity of knowing that, this is probably going to happen here. And it did. And I like that. And I like that that blend of the two. Because there were some I was like, holy shit, what just happened? And then there were some I was like, this is going to happen. And it did. And it made me familiar and comfortable enough, like, to let my guard down, but then it also was like, what the fuck, with some of the other shit.
So one of the other things that I thought worked really well was the set design. You've got multiple different sets. Everything was done really well. It was like shot really quickly.
It probably was like shooting 2 different movies.
Oh, if not 3. So the production design I thought was really fantastic. The first third is set in Mexico, and I know that it was shot in LA, but it looks like Mexico, and I really love that. And then the second 2 thirds.
It was shot in LA?
Yeah. The whole movie was shot in LA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you can't tell. Like, it really does look so authentic. And then the second third cuts into, like, Pleasantville, the perfect world.
Yeah.
And
where was that? I want to live there.
Laboratory, which, again,
it's probably like West Covina or something.
I have no idea. I mean, I think we can find out. But that being said, like, it was really, really well done. But there was, like, 3 different worlds, very distinctly different worlds that they shot in on a low budget in a short amount of time. And I thought they did it really, really well.
It was pretty low budget?
I don't know what it was, but I know that it's, like, Blumhouse typically is considered low budget. Like, not by my
But they
definition of
were,
low
but
budget,
are they
like,
still
yeah,
considered
no,
budget
very
then?
much so. Especially this one, which only has Sean Ashmore and Barbara Crampton
Crampton.
as a name. Yeah. Keep in mind, they did $3 million for, I think, The Purge, which had Ethan Hawke.
Was that 3 million?
Yeah, most of Blumhouse's films are below $3 million.
I feel like they have to call in a lot of favors.
Well, what they do is, like, if they have something like Ethan Hawke, they become like a producer share. So they get money on the
got it.
back end as opposed to up front. But still, this movie didn't have an Ethan Hawke.
Smart.
And again, ironically, I
Yeah.
thought it looked like the best that they've ever shot.
It was so like it looked really fantastic. It looked like the budget was really big. Like when she told me about it, I was like, "Oh, cool!" And I was really, really extra surprised. Like I knew it was going to be good, but I was extra surprised at the production value of it because I was like, "Wow, holy shit!" You know.
So, what also worked for me, this is how a director should do a cameo. For the record, she looked the part, she spoke the part, she played the part well. You would not know if you were watching this movie and not familiar with it that Gigi was the actor in that role. She played a minor role.
Yeah,
She was,
it was really
one of the girls saying goodbye to Marisol when she decided to leave. She spoke Spanish, obviously fluently, because that's what Gigi does. But she also
need to
looks
teach me,
like,
Gigi.
by the way, she looks like she's 15 in the movie.
She does. Yeah, she looks like.
I'm like,
she's
I've been drinking with her. I know she's of drinking age.
Well, I also like that they.
But it wasn't a
In that-
vanity cameo either. For the
No,
record.
it wasn't.
She's not super glamorous. She obviously didn't spend 5
but she
hours in the
still
makeup chair.
looks beautiful.
Well, she's a beautiful person.
Yeah, but like
You know,
yeah,
but
like, she
it's not
still
like
looks
she
really
like, I'm going to
pretty.
give myself the most glorious cameo ever. She's like, no, this is
I'm
what
gonna be the
fits.
movie
This is what
star
works.
cameo. Like no,
Exactly. And
yeah,
I love
it was
that.
it was just like it was a young girl in Mexico. But the thing is, I liked in that scene that they touched on because they tried to give her contraception because most of the girls in that room were pregnant. And they were trying to give her contraception, and she's like, "I'm Catholic. I can't take that." And that a lot of people don't know that that's something that like Catholicism, that like they don't believe in birth control. And I was raised Christian, but not Catholic. But I had a lot of Catholic friends, so a lot of Catholics don't believe in birth control, which is why a lot of Catholics have like 20 kids in each family.
Yep.
At least when I grew up, that was
Nope,
the
I
case.
do too.
So like, but I, and that was, it's one of those really old principles with the Bible and Catholicism that I don't necessarily agree with. But yeah, like a lot of people don't realize that. And she was hardcore, like, nope, I'm Catholic, I'm not taking this. And they were like, listen, girl. Because a lot of those girls in that room, it wasn't even like that. They were like, I'm having sex with my boyfriend. Like in America, like these girls are getting raped and shit. And then getting pregnant over that, which is the lead, and that whole storyline, the whole like rape storyline, it confused me a little bit because the first time you see this guy, he's like, trust me, and I thought it was her boyfriend, and then all of a sudden, like it cuts to and it's really fast. It cuts to like him like holding her down and just like,
Taking
and then
advantage.
and like her face,
Raping
like,
her.
Obviously not. Willing,
Well, I thought that's the other thing that I want to touch on that really worked for me is like the social commentary.
Yeah.
It doesn't beat you over the head, but it has a lot to say. So like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like this is also like a less common story. We see a lot in the media currently about how rape victims should have the right to an abortion, but they should also have the right to see the pregnancy through when they want to.
If they want, yeah.
Like it should be up to them. And this is a story where they don't hit you over the head with it, so don't feel like it's going to push a political agenda
No.
because it's not.
It doesn't really,
But-
like, it's just undertones.
But it's about the
Yeah.
woman who did suffer, is a victim of rape, and she chooses to go through with this pregnancy because she loves this baby.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important story
Well,
to tell. 'Cause
yeah.
It's one that we don't see often,
and
and it's equally as important as the women that choose to not go forward with the pregnancy is as important as the people that do choose to
Yeah.
go forward with the pregnancy. But we don't see
Absolutely,
this
yeah.
side often, or at least I haven't. I don't think I've ever seen a movie about that either, for the record.
about
A
choosing
woman
to
that
go
was
through
raped
with
that
it.
chose to go through with the pregnancy.
I want to say like I have, but it's been a long time. I loved, spoiler alert, I loved the scene where she killed him.
So good, right? So good. And like it's like such an iconic moment because like she comes out and he's still tied up and she has like her words, the dialogue.
I love that in the beginning and the end they're speaking Spanish, and in the middle where it's like the Stepford Wives thing, it's all English, and they're like, why am I speaking English?
I really love that.
I don't know English.
We don't study Spanish in Canada, so I don't know any of Spanish. I loved the use of Spanish in this film. I thought it was so good for the story. It just immediately immersed you in the character's environment, and I thought it was so effective.
Yeah, it was really, I love, and it made it gave it an extra thing that made it so much different than this utopian kind of like VR world.
Well, and it made me feel for the characters more.
Yeah.
You know, because it put me in their elements, which was outside of mine, but I didn't care because I was experiencing it through their view.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as it's authentic and real, like, even if it's not something that you've experienced, it still feels real and authentic, and it makes you feel for that character more, you know, and to see them in this, like, gritty, Spanish-speaking, like, you know, like real like life, because obviously that middle part wasn't real life. Nobody's real life is like that, even though as much as I want it to be, it's not.
Although you can probably have a house like that at some point.
I mean, yeah, but still, like nobody's little community is like that.
Second pause. Am I the only one who thinks that's just like how Barbara Crampton lives her life? She was so good in the role, but also there's like a part of me around like you kind of have to be an alien because you don't age. You're still
she's so
beautiful
like
woman.
she looks amazing.
So I'm like, are you just this like
so
AI
good.
creation?
Yeah, maybe.
Right? She could be. Like that could just be her showing her true color.
I think
Barbara Crampton, a figment of our imagination.
Either that or she just made a deal with the devil many, many years ago.
Also, have your guy call my guy, Barbara.
I can't even.
Okay, so now,
yeah,
as long as we're gushing over the film, is there anything that didn't work?
That didn't work. I can't really.
So I only have minor gripes with this film. Overall, loved it to death. I would have liked to have seen Sean Ashmore's character come full circle. I felt the exit of his character felt a little bit.
That's what I was trying to take notes.
But also, I think it's because they made me love him so much. Like we're with him as he's like
we
part
also
of the AI simulation. We did. Sean Ashmore.
Sean Ashmore.
With that being said, we see him go through this arc. We see him like come to the good side.
Well, yeah,
and then we just see him like with the briefcase give like a nod to Marisol.
Yeah, I
walk
thought
away.
that
No,
exactly
go with
thing.
her.
I was like, at least come in and help them out because they were like struggling to get the door
Mexico.
open and like go not necessarily go to Mexico with her. Like no, I you know he didn't leave that, you know, but he didn't need to be her like love interest or anything. But like I wanted there to be more of a because they never actually and I'm sure Gigi did this on purpose, but they never actually had a face-to-face meeting. Like he was with her while she had her VR thing on, and he spoke to her through Barbara Crampton's character. Was it Peggy?
Yeah, which is so creepy. And
that was creepy.
For the record,
awesome. That was great. Loved it. Loved that choice. But yeah, I would have liked to have been there. There've been more with the two of them after the fact because there was some in the VR world, but that was it.
Character arc was incomplete for me.
Yeah,
I wanted to like.
bit,
I saw that he made the right choice, but then there was no like payoff of that right choice.
Yeah,
you know, like I thought we could have gone more with
or
him.
at least the payoff with her, you know, like her like saying thank you or something. But like, of course they kind of
for me, I thought I got that with like their subtle nod.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
and they were, like,
of course they kind of do that. But yeah, you don't really see as much with him.
But again, like what happens during
even if it was
he goes
during
against like his boss, he like causes the demise of his experiment. Where did he go? What did he do?
In the head. I didn't like. I mean, I did and I didn't. I was kind of torn with the whole rape thing, where it went from like this guy, you trust him, you just assume that he's her boyfriend or friend or whatever, and then all of a sudden like snap. Like I liked it and I didn't like it either because it was a little confusing.
It was. I thought it was supposed to be a little bit confusing. For me
I think so.
Like playing into like this is how it is in life because like in life it's a little bit confusing. He said, she said, we said. It gets
Yeah,
tricky.
no, I get. Well, I'm sure it was a purposeful choice, but it confused me a little bit.
Fair. Barbara Crampton. Again, I would
Love
like
her.
to have seen
More of her?
her character tie in to like the outside of the VR experience. I loved how
Yes.
Sean Ashmore and his boss were both in the VR world and the regular world, and we only saw Barbara in the VR
Well,
world.
I would have
I
liked
would
to
have
have
loved to have
seen.
seen like why was she such an
I
important
would have
character?
liked to have seen
Where was
all
she?
of those people that were like the redheaded,
Or- but even, like,
the
saving
redheaded,
her.
the redheaded school.
Yeah, like save them. Like they should be
school
the
teacher.
people that are saved, right? Like the people that are like escorted out.
Either those
Or are
people
they just, like, an
inside,
actual simulation?
or they're people working
Or-
there. I would have liked to
Yeah.
have seen them working there, like they were the secretary, or they were like
Right, that could have been such a
you know
unique
what I
tie-in.
mean, or they were like nurses, or whatever. That I that's the only thing I didn't like, because there were a couple of people who were like those, like I mean, for like there were the white people in there, because you didn't see any. Well, because that was the story. Like these people coming over from Mexico are the ones getting captured and put in this VR world. But there were a lot of white people in there too, but you didn't see any of them. Like, where the fuck did they come from? You know what I mean? Like, why weren't they either captives?
Yep.
They could have been like ex-cons or something,
Or were they
cons,
players?
or were they players like Sean Ashmore's character?
Yeah, and
they were
the
like the
governor.
nurses, and like the governor was
I
like
thought,
the
and that's
boss
like
guy.
such an opportunity lost. in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah,
It could
but
have been really fun to play with that.
maybe they just couldn't get Barbara. Maybe Barbara wasn't available. She works a lot.
She does. That bitch does you.
She works a lot, and she's got people.
Other
She's
thing that,
important.
if I'm really nitpicking, again, it didn't take me out of the movie.
Yeah,
But if
no,
you were to
these are just
press me
little.
to say what was a little bit too much suspension of disbelief for me was the pregnancy, the birthing part. She goes into labor, and her friend helps her give birth almost instantly, and she pops out a baby, and she's
Yeah,
fine.
but
And then hold on, and then she's able to stand up and like fight to escape.
Well, yeah,
it was
that.
just like the whole thing was like it was a lot to take in. Like it's unlikely that a woman's able to give birth that quickly. It's unlikely that the birth would go that seamlessly. It's
Well,
unlikely that the guy
it's
who's
movie
not
magic.
trained in giving birth would be able to help her. It's unlikely that he'd even be able to get the baby out with her jeans around her ankles. It's unlikely she would have the strength to stand up, let alone like get dressed and leave and like fight to
but
escape.
I feel like that's part of the movie magic thing, because
It is movie magic, but it's
if you look at
little bit too much.
if you look at any other movie, almost any other movie where there's a birthing scene or TV or whatever, it always seems like, oh, it's so quick and it's so easy and da da da. And this is something that happens in movies all the time.
It is.
So, and it's something also the governor guy, he even said, he's like, you'd be surprised. He's like, it's amazing what the human body can handle.
Well, and I agree
He
with
did
all
make
of
that comment, and I was like, because I thought the same thing you did. I was like, she just had a baby and she's fucking running from people.
Well,
like,
we
what
haven't
the
had
fuck?
babies, but
And
I'm
then no, but I've had a lot of friends who've had babies.
So
And
have I. But like most of them are like not able to stand for 2 days. They're not like getting.
oh
from
yeah,
their
they're
house.
like, oh, I can barely walk.
But
around
again,
to the bathroom.
movie
But
disbelief.
well,
It's fine.
yeah, it is. But when he said it's amazing what the body can handle, and I thought about it, and I'm like, she's going through a lot of adrenaline.
Yeah, fair.
She's, you know what I mean. So like, even though normal people, whenever they have a baby, they're not dealing with that adrenaline after the baby's born. So you're like you're not thinking about it. But
Fair.
yeah, like if you just had a baby and you're getting like threatened with your life, you're gonna fucking run. And not only your life, your baby's life. So that's like something that is
Fair.
a thing.
No,
You
like
know
I
what
said,
I mean?
it didn't take me out of the
Especially
movie. It's a minor gripe.
motherly
All of the gripes I
thing.
have are minor. So this is going to bring us into questions, comments, and concerns. The concerns, again, would just be like, I don't think a pregnant woman would act that way, but you brought up some very valid arguments to defeat that.
I feel like it did. It did, right?
You did.
It did. Also, we can just ask Gigi.
True. And so
Questions.
questions, comments, and concerns. Where did Barbara Crampton go? Can she be
Oh
our
my
mother? Is she
God.
looking to adopt people? We are ready for adoption.
We're too old to be her children.
I disagree. You're never
I
too
mean,
old
I
to be
can-
Barbara Crampton's kid.
Well, she can adopt us. We don't have moms. Adopt us, Barbara Crampton. I love you.
No, she's great.
We both were like, at the same time. That's great. No, she's great. And that was a really awesome role for her. And my biggest question was, why wasn't there more of Barbara? Why?
Well, I thought there was a lot of
Gigi.
Barbara.
No, that was not enough. It was not enough of Barbara Crampton. Not enough. She was awesome.
I would have loved the wraparound. I would have loved it to be like that. She was like the head nurse, and that's why she was like in the simulation, because I thought that was
yes. Even if she was the wife of the governor guy.
Oh yeah, that would have worked too. Also, that would have been good on him. Like, way to trade up.
Right? Yeah, there wasn't, like, why wasn't there more Barbara? But I mean, I'm sure, like, movie things and budgets and, I don't know. I'm an actor. I don't know these things. I don't pay attention to numbers.
So would you recommend this movie to others?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I have a lot of horror fans who would love it. Like, effects people love it. The effects were great. Big blood splatter whenever they killed the governor guy. That was great. You could see, like, it was like it was like somebody threw a whole bunch of fucking blood and just like dripped down. That was cool. Like,
I also would severely, highly recommend this movie. To me, here's the thing. It's one of the best movies that Blumhouse has ever done. Do yourself a favor and watch it. It's on Hulu. It's going to be free. I'm going to link it down below to where you can watch it.
I have a lot of friends who who love horror films as well, but like just who are Mexican and they speak Spanish, and I'm like, you would love this movie, because as much as I loved it, I feel like I could even appreciate it even more if I was more fluent in Spanish. I knew words. And actually watching this movie and the subtitles, I was like, oh, I know more words than I thought. They're mostly the bad words, though. I'm just saying.
That being said, also, like, for the record, I love the social commentary. There's a bunch of little things that you get, including like when they reference like the president tweeted.
Ooh, at the end. At the end. Oh, I literally
sad, but
looked at her.
true.
I looked at her when they're like, the president tweeted for the 25th time today, and they quoted a tweet, and I was like, I looked at her. I was like, was that an actual tweet?
But also, Gigi, you're Canadian. I love that you get us in America.
You act like you're American. You're not American.
I'm Canadian. But
I'm the only American of the two, and then Gigi's Canadian. You're in between because you live here, but you're still Canadian. I was born and raised in this fucking country
the fact that,
with
like,
a
there's
bunch
so
of Trump
much social
supporters,
commentary.
and I get it. I feel like more than either of you bitches do. I love you, Gigi, and you totally get it for somebody who's not born and raised in this country, and I love that. Love it.
Anyways.
And so does she. But yeah, but no, like, this is real for me, and it hit really home.
It did, right? But like in a really good, productive way.
Yeah. What I also love is the fact that they had the Mexican national anthem in it. She doesn't even know the Canadian.
I had no idea. But good on you for having it in there.
Do you know the Canadian one, Gigi? Because I feel like you probably know all of them.
She probably does. She's a singer.
She probably knows all of them. Oh, that's right. She's a singer. We need to sing together. But yeah,
that being said,
believe you don't know.
We would both recommend this movie. Definitely check it out. I'm going to link it down in the description box below. A huge
watch
special thank you for Dani Inks for joining me on this review. And note, now I've given you like a movie that you love, so you can tolerate a horror film that you won't love.
Oh yeah, we're going to see a movie that I don't want to go see at all.
Surprise! That being said, if you like this video, if you like me, don't forget to like, comment down below, and also subscribe. We produce new videos over here, all about indie, all about genre, as often as I can throughout the week, and 10 billion bonus points if you join the Patreon.
Patreon, 10 billion bonus points.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And go see Culture Shock on Hulu,
Culture
bitches.
Shock. Oh, it's on Hulu. We're going to have a screening at my apartment. It's going to happen.
We're also going to the premiere on the
friends.
29th in Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, but that's us. We'll be screening for like a bunch of my friends.
Yes. You should do one at home too.
Bye. Bye.